odd sort of way. Dr. Ranger. What do you think happened? The doctor whispered almost inaudibly. Just turn the dot off, Jason. The doctor shut the device off, and the room got deathly quiet. You had tears streaming down your face with clenched teeth, trying to keep in the cries. The doctor rushed over with a worried face, undoing the straps, while Dodo 77 and Jason rushed over, concerned.
Unmute. Pretty pretty.
The tension in the room was thick. Dodo 77 was holding in his emotions, and Jason was nervous for your condition. As the straps are taken off, your legs were free as you slowly got up from the device. 077 rushed towards you and immediately picked you up, hugging you tightly. Hey, hey, Kit. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Are you all right? Without warning, the coach flicks a lever that causes the machine to lock your legs in place. Zero. Without warning, the large metal bars clamped down on your legs and began crushing them. Doctor, Ranger size, and a man is already in the corner, recording as a test. Oh boy, 7-7 cringes at the sight of your legs being crushed. Dr. Ranger, don't overreact. We are recording and need to see what he can hold to. Jason. Poor kid.
Poor kid. Poor kid. Free him. Free the kid. Won't you free him? Really? Really? Scoop up the kitty. Put the kitty in there. Pet the kitty.
Dr. Ranger, oh god, just a few seconds, hang in there. You can feel as your bones start to slowly crack and your legs begin to squish even more. The 7-7 winces and looks away. Jason nervously sweats. The metal bars stop crushing your legs after a few seconds. Dr. Ranger, kiddo, you're doing good. Just take deep breaths. You can make it. 077 watches behind Jason, cringing still at the sight and sound of your legs cracking. Dr. Ranger raises an eyebrow at your swearing. Churr! Crack! Dr. Ranger, his legs are starting to crack. He's going to end up like the other test dummies. Jason, you guys are seriously trying to crush the kid's damn legs in? Jizza 7-7 turns to Jason. Zizza 7, this is how we find out what he's capable of. I know it's bad, but the metal bars keeps you eyes I and your legs for a while. Your legs are crushed even more and they begin to get weaker. Jason, the damn kid won't be able to walk. If we even let him walk after. 777's expression shifts to worry as you were crying and swearing loudly. He was getting second thoughts. 7-7. I think we should stop. Just a few more seconds. He's still conscious and able to say sentences. Are you nuts? He's already been on this thing for
have noise compression on that. Or do I? Oh no, I don't know how to do the compressor. Oh, yeah, it's gonna work. The compressor really. If there's still hot dogs.
At that last word, a loud crack can be heard from your legs, and a part of the machine snaps and breaks. 777, he broke the machine. Jason. The hell? Dr. Ranger. That's the first time something like that happened. Dr. Ranger pushes the lever up, making the bars press against your legs even more. Dr. Ranger, I said, a few more seconds. We need to stop this. He can't take it. Jason, he's gonna lose his damn legs. The machine went from crushing your legs to breaking them. Jason couldn't watch anymore and turned away. 07, oh God, this is going too far. Just stop it. 7-7, stop the machine now. Dr. Ranger, almost there. Jason, for the love of God, do it. Dr. Ranger, 2, stop. The machine's metal bars cease from crushing your legs. 07, we're... Dr. Ranger pushes the lever down, ending the process as the bars open up. Dr. Ranger, the test was successful. He held up well. Successful? He nearly lost half of his legs. Dr. Ranger, but he didn't, did he? No, so it wasn't that bad, Jason. Damn, doctor, that was horrible. The doctor turned the lever even higher up. Dr. Ranger, just a couple more seconds. 07, please just stop it. His legs are breaking. Jason, this is sickening. The doctor was determined and continued the machine as he wrote down how high it went. The 777 finally couldn't take it anymore. Stop. Joseph 77 suddenly shoves Ranger away and turns off the machine. 77, it's over. You heard him screaming and crying. He's in pain, Dr. Ranger. We just needed a few more seconds. 077, it's over. He's in pain now you've completely crushed his legs, Jason. Jesus Christ. 077 winces at your screams, and Jason tries to block it out by covering his ears. Dr. Ranger continued. Dr. Ranger, almost there. Stop! Please, for the love of God, just stop. 07N7 bangs his fists against the glass, screaming and cursing. The machine finally stopped, and the doctor let out a sigh. Dr. Ranger, now we've tested and recorded it. Can we stop the damn screaming? Yes, we will. You can't test a human like that and expect them to not feel a damn thing. The doctor shook his head in agreement. Jason, this was messed up. Dr. Ranger, just a few more seconds. His legs are still in one piece. You screamed in pain as your legs were absolutely crushed, being broken to hell. Jason, this has gone too far. He'll have to be in a wheelchair once we're done. Seven. I can't stand seeing this. Stop. Doctor. Ranger kept pushing the lever up. Um. The doctor writes once more and turns off the machine. Dr. Ranger. That's a wrap, I suppose. He glances down to your legs. Dr. Ranger. Oh dear. Dr. Ranger. Almost there. Stop it. This is getting horrible. Jason. He can't take any more. Doctor. Ranger sighs and turns the lever up a little more. As the doctor wrote the final time down, he stopped the machine, finally. Dr. Ranger. All right, the test is over. Dr. Ranger. Hey, what'd you just say? 7-7. Hey! Don't speak to him like that. Jason. The kid's legs are just crushed and broken. Of course he'd act like that. Dr. Ranger. I was just doing my job. You are going way too far. Dr. Ranger, it was for testing purposes. Do you know 7-7, you nearly broke his damn legs. The hell is wrong with you? Dr. Ranger. Oh, shut it. The test was going fine. You literally broke his legs. Dr. Ranger. He'll heal with time. No need to complain, Jason. This shouldn't have happened. Dr. Ranger. He did surprisingly well, Jason. Well, look at his legs. He's in pain. 707 is unable to think straight, his mind filled with worry and regret. Dr. Ranger rolls his eyes. Jason, you just crushed a kid's damn legs for a little test. Dr. Ranger, it was important and necessary for research. Dr. Ranger, hey, I'm only doing my part of the test. 07, this test is cruel. Jason, you guys went way too far. His legs are broken. His legs are broken. Dr. Ranger, just doing what I get paid for. 7-7, that went too far. Jason, you're a damn monster. The kid's legs are broken. Jason glares at the doctor. Jason. What in the hell kind of person are you to make someone's legs go through that? Dr. Ranger. I'm doing this for the good of our organization. 077, you almost completely shattered the kid's legs. 077 carefully undoes your straps, with the help of Jason. After you're unstrapped, 77 hurries to embrace you, holding you away from your ruined legs. 7, shh, it's okay. It's over now. Jason comes over to stand by 007. Jason, the guy is insane. He hurt a kid's legs. For testing. 077, that was absolutely horrifying, shuddering. 777 turns back to you, still cradling your upper body with no intentions to let go. How are you feeling? 9077 gives you a sympathetic look, rubbing your back. It's okay, bud. I'm right here, and aren't gonna leave you. Jason stands behind 007 and sighs, still feeling disbelief about the doctor. Jason, what type of man hurts innocent children? One with no heart. 077 scoffs, tightening his grip on you. Jason nods, still enraged. Jason, that doctor, he's terrible. As of an absolute creep even. After a few moments of silence and comforting to try to take your mind, after a few moments of silence and comforting, Jason glances at your ruined legs, cringing at the sight. Jason, yeah, you're gonna need a wheelchair after this. 077 carefully moves his arm under you, carrying your upper body as he got you off the machine. Shh. It's alright. Hold on to me, kiddo. 077 kept you close to him as he walked out the room, Jason trailing behind. Jason held the infirmary door open for 077. After leaving the room, 077 took you to the infirmary, having you lay on a cot after setting you down. Jason, could you go find a doctor? Jason, I'm on it. After Jason leaves, 077 looks down at you and sits by your side. You feel a little bit calmer, but uncomfortable. 077 keeps his hand on your shoulder and gives a comforting rub. I'm right here, bud. Just keep trying to relax. 077 winces at you saying this. 007, I know, they really messed up your poor legs. The door to the infirmary creaks open and Jason appears with a The doctor checks up on your legs, observing how badly they were broken, and writes down notes on his clipboard after putting on blue gloves. 077 watches the doctor. After a few more seconds of the doctor checking over your legs, he turned to Darrow 7N7 and set the clipboard away. Doctor, I'm just gonna put this lightly. The damage to his legs is a 7-7 gulped, nervous to hear what the doctor would say next. Doctor, quite severe. 077 gulped at those last words, and couldn't help but look at your legs from the other side of the cot, wincing. Jason also winced, still disturbed by the test. Doctor, his legs have been completely broken and will be difficult to heal. Not saying it's impossible. The doctor moves to a rack of supplies. Doctor, with proper medical attention, he will be able to recover, though it's going to require a lot of healing. The doctor takes the supplies and moves back to the cot, kneeling down to your legs to get to work. None in 7N7 gulps, but lets the doctor work carefully and slowly. Geez, at least it's not impossible for him to recover. Jason, still, this is a mess. Seven turned his head to look at you. If it weren't for the light of the TV, it would be impossible to see his face. The man didn't move, just the hand that was holding the beer was up, lifting the bottle to his lips to take a sip. You didn't give up. Papa? The little one called out to his father once more, taking small steps closer. The voice of his son made Seven turn to look at him. He stared at him for a few seconds. His tired, distant look softened a little when he saw his little one. Hey, son. He let out a small sigh, pushing himself into a sitting position so he could see his son better. He looked at what he held in his hands. Oh, what is it? He tried to give a small smile as he looked at the drawing. He could see the scribbles, no doubt the attempt of a little one trying hard to draw. Did you draw it yourself? It's very pretty, son. He stayed silent for a moment. He stayed silent for a moment. This was a difficult question, and he wasn't sure how to answer it to a kid like Caesar L. Kid. Yes, son, I'm fine. I'm just a little tired, that's all. He let out a sigh and smiled, though it seemed a bit forced. Yeah, don't worry about your old man, son. I'm fine. Really. Like this. Some violations I... His gaze then landed on Cito's ill kid, seeing him sit down next to him. He felt a small twinge in his heart, as it was rare that Seven was able to spend time with his son like this. What are you doing, son? He was caught off guard at first, but he quickly relaxed, bringing his free hand up to pat Seal's ill kid's head gently. He closed his eyes for a brief moment, trying to hide his exhaustion. Thank you, kiddo, I needed that. He felt a jolt course through his body when C's kid hugged his arm. He couldn't help but feel a little touched by this move. He placed a hand on top of yours, awkwardly trying to reciprocate the affection. Thanks, son. He glanced up at the TV, then back to C00 kid. Seven looked back at the TV, which was the only source of light in the room. Oh, just the news. Nothing interesting, really. His gaze then shifted back to you. He studied you for a moment, his expression thoughtful. You know, son, it's late. Shouldn't you be asleep by now? He couldn't help but raise an eyebrow, clearly not believing you. Really? So you're saying you're not even a little tired? He couldn't help but roll his eyes at that response. Ah, yes, because only then you'll be going to sleep, just because Papa's going to sleep. Is that right? He let out a small sigh, realizing arguing with you was futile. He let out a small smile. All right, you win. So you'll stay awake until I go to bed, is that it? He chuckled softly, shaking his head in slight amusement. He wrapped an arm around you, bringing you closer. You are quite stubborn, son, you know that? He raised an eyebrow at your question, slightly confused. He couldn't help but be caught off guard by that sudden request, looking at you with a raised eyebrow. A lollipop? Why do you want a lollipop at this? He couldn't help but snicker, shaking his head a little. You're a real candy monster, aren't you? He reached into his pockets, pulling out a lollipop he carried for moments like these. He offers the lollipop to you. Here, take it, but don't eat it all up now. Save some for tomorrow, okay? He chuckled softly, watching you put the lollipop in your mouth. He poked your stomach gently. You seem ecstatic about that lollipop. You really are a candy. He let out a chuckle, shaking his head slightly, when he saw you immediately put the lollipop in your mouth. He knew you loved candy, but sometimes you get a little crazy. Hey, slow down there, Tiger. Don't finish it all in one go. He couldn't help but snicker when you did a small roar. You really are quite adorable for my little one, he thought to himself with a small smile, gently messing up your hair. He couldn't help but laugh at your little roar move, finding it amusing. Easy there, little tiger. Don't go all ferocious on me. Um, I, no, um, he couldn't help but let out a laugh, finding your roar adorable. He shook his head, still amused. Oh, you're such a little goofball. But I'm serious. Don't eat it up so fast. You'll have a tummy ache. He was surprised by your unexpected poke, a bit caught off guard. He let out a small oof sound. He looked. He was a bit caught off guard by your sudden poke on the stomach, but he couldn't help but chuckle a little. Hey, watch it there. You know Papa is ticklish. Oh, that little cheeky laugh you gave him was almost too cute. You little goofball. You're just too adorable. You know that? he says with a small smile, poking you gently on the cheek. He couldn't help but raise an eyebrow, a playful smirk on his lips. He leaned slightly closer to you, still keeping a friendly tone. Oh, so that's how it is, huh? You're finding this amusing now, aren't you? Without warning, he suddenly lunged forward and started tickling your sides, his fingers dancing across your ribs. Well, two can play at that game, you little rascal. He chuckled mischievously as he continued tickling you, clearly enjoying this little tickle fight. Oh, you think that's funny, do you? He intensified his tickles, targeting the most sensitive spots. He continued to relentlessly tickle your sides, a wide grin on his face as your laughter filled the room. Ha ha, you're laughing now, aren't you? Looks like Papa still knows how to tickle you properly. 30 Princess watched you, confused by what you're trying to do, and Blue Dude's eyes almost bulged out of his sockets. What on earth are you doing? Blue Dude face palmed. Right. So dude face palmed. He did not want to deal with whatever weird thing you were going to do with the dresser. He was already stressed by the amount of mess and the fact that you never cleaned up after yourself, and now you were going to do more mess? Bill could put the damn dresser down. Pretty Princess watches in shock, and Blue Dud's jaw drop. He can't believe what you're trying to do. What are you? Put that down! Tim. Ding. Blue Dude runs at you, trying to grab the dresser out of your hands. Give it here! You're going to get yourself hurt. Blue Dud quickly stepped out of the way as the dresser dropped to the floor with a loud thud. He looks at you with a mixture of frustration and disbelief. Are you insane? You could have hit me with that thing. And now it's broken. What the heck is your problem? Bluded's face turns red with anger as you insult him. He clenches his fists, trying to control his temper. What did you just call me, you little brat? Bluded grits his teeth, growing more and more irritated by the second. No, I'm not deaf or dumb. I just can't believe you have the audacity to speak to me like that. And why the heck did you throw that dresser down in the first place? Pretty Princess giggles, finding the whole situation amusing. Blue Dude shoots a glare at her, knowing that she's taking pleasure in his irritation. He turns his attention back to you. I heard that, and I'm neither deaf nor dumb, you little punk. Blue Dude grits his teeth, his patience wearing thin. He takes a step closer to you, towering over you with a menacing expression. Don't you dare tell me to shut up. And push. And don't push your luck, kid. I'm still the oldest here, and I'm the one in charge. Bluded's eyes widen as you threaten him and pick up the PC. B, whoa, put that down. Are you out of your damn mind? 30 Princess watches, still finding all this amusing, covering her mouth to hold back giggles. Bluded dodges out of the way, just in time, and the PC shatters on the floor. breaking into a million pieces. He looks at you, absolutely furious now. What the hell is wrong with you? That was my PC. It's not that easy, you idiot. PCs are expensive, especially ones with good specs. You can't just go around breaking them and expecting me to buy a new one like it's nothing. Oh wow, why didn't I think of that before? Maybe because I'm a teenager, you moron? I can't just magically get a job overnight just because you broke my things. Blue Did is taken aback by your height, looking you up and down. What the hell, you're only 10 and already that tall? That's just not fair. Per 30 Princess continues to watch, giggling and finding this whole interaction quite entertaining. So what if you're 10 and tall for your age? It doesn't change the fact that you're acting like a toddler, throwing tantrums, and breaking things like a spoiled brat. Me? How is this my fault? You're the one throwing a fit and destroying my stuff. Take some responsibility for your own actions for once, you brat. Blue Dead clenched his fists, his frustration reaching a boiling point. He knew you were challenging him, pushing his buttons. He looked around for something to break. Something of yours that would teach you a lesson. You want me to break something, huh? You're asking for it, you little punk. 30 Princess watched with anticipation, wondering what Blue Dead would choose to break. She couldn't help but feel a bit amused by this whole situation, but also curious to see what would happen next. Blue Dead's gaze landed on something of yours, something he knew would upset you if it got broken. He smirked, his eyes glinting with a hint of satisfaction. How about this? I bet you won't like it if I break this. Bluded held up a small, fragile object that was clearly dear to you. See this? If you keep pushing me, I'll snap. Blue Dude's eyes gleamed with a sadistic glee. Hey, what the? Blooded whips around, his expression changing from shocked to furious as you kick his door open. He lunges at you, grabbing you by the scruff of your shirt. Beat? What the hell do you think you're doing, you little terror? Blooded's eyes widen as you kick his door open, completely caught off guard by your sudden action. What the? Hey, you brat! My door! Did you just break it? Ah, that's hurting. Blooded couldn't believe what he was seeing. You were completely out of control, breaking down his door and now tearing it off the hinges. What the hell is wrong with you? Are you completely crazy? Inte taxi. I just... That was my privacy, you brat. Blooded's face went red with embarrassment as you mentioned the late night sounds coming from his room. You heard that? What were you even doing up so late? Blooded's embarrassment turned into frustration. Oh, great. So you were wide awake, listening to me while I was doing my own thing. How long were you eavesdropping, you little creep? Blooded rolled his eyes, annoyed. Oh, sure, you didn't mean to. You just happened to be wide awake at 3 a.m. Just happened to hear something from my room, and just happened to stand there listening for who knows how long. Yeah, I totally believe that. I totally believe that. Blue Dud crossed his arms, not entirely convinced. Uh-huh, sure. You just happened to randomly wake up hungry at exactly the time I was making all that noise. Completely coincidental, right? Blue Dud let out a frustrated sigh. Even if that's true, it doesn't justify you listening in on whatever I was doing in my own damn room. And it definitely doesn't give you the right to break down my door and tear it off the hinges. Blooded's face turned more red, obviously embarrassed to answer your question. Ugh, fine. If you really must know, it was, well, private activities, alright? That's all you need to know, you nosy brat. Blueted, still embarrassed, rolled his eyes. Oh, come on. You really want me to spell it out for you? It was, Pretty Princess interrupts, her giggles getting louder. I'm not. Bluedead shoots her a glare. Shut it, sis. Don't you dare finish that word. Bluedead's brain went into panic mode, knowing where you were going with this. He swallowed and tried to maintain his composure. Why do you want to know? And what makes you think I'll even tell you? Bluedead's face turned even redder as you asked that question, knowing exactly what you were implying. Why the hell do you want to know that, you little punk? You do realize what you're asking, right? Bluedead's eyes widened in horror at your threat. He didn't want you telling Dad about the body pillow incident. It was the most embarrassing moment of his life. FK, alright. Don't tell Dad about that. Just promise me you'll keep that to yourself. Bluebeard let out a sigh of relief, thankful that you agreed not to spill that information to your dad. He took a deep breath and braced himself to answer your question. Alright, fine. It started with the letter M and ended with the letter N. You happy now, you annoying little sh*t? Bluebeard's face turned completely red as you spelled out the word. He looked at you with a mixture of embarrassment and annoyance. Ugh, yeah, that's right. I was, making that noise. Are you satisfied now, you little punk? Can we drop this conversation and... Bluedead shook his head in disbelief, still blushing profusely. Of course you do, you little smartass. You're so damn nosy, aren't you? Can't just mind your own business for once, huh? Always gotta stick your nose into everyone's affairs. Bluedead sighed, his annoyance starting to wane a bit. He knew you probably didn't mean to overhear him, but it still irritated him that you had. I know, you didn't mean to listen or whatever, but it's still hella embarrassing, you know? I have my own private life to take care of, and it's not exactly fun having a little shed like you eavesdropping on me in the middle of the night. Pretty Princess looks at you and Blue'd argue. She's been watching the whole time. She rolls her eyes, feeling a bit bored. Ugh, you two are so loud. Can't you guys ever have a conversation without yelling at each other for once? Bluted face palmed at your dramatic request. Jesus Christ, kid, what the hell are you even saying? No one is killing anyone, alright? Just suck it up and deal with your problems like a normal person. Bluedude gave you a confused look, not quite sure what you meant. What? You want pretty princess to kill you? That's a weird request, kid. Why would you say that? Hmm. 30 Princess looked up from where she had been quietly watching the exchange between you and Bluedude. What? She was a little taken aback by your sudden statement. Bluedude rolled his eyes at your dramatic comment. Oh, come on, you're being so overdramatic. I'm hardly a dick bag. Per 30 Princess couldn't help but giggle at Bluedude's denial and your extreme reaction. Bluedude stumbled back, caught off guard by your sudden slap. He rubbed his cheek, wincing in pain. Ow! What the hell was that for, you little punk? That's indeed. Saint. That is done doing you. Don't think you get something with something to be. That hurt. I'm, I'm, .077 entered the house carrying a briefcase and looking somewhat tired from his business trip. His eyes immediately widened at the sight of the scene before him. What the hell happened in here? Why is the front door off the hinges and why are you two fighting? Dad walked into the scene, immediately noticing the chaos in the room. He looked at the shattered PC, the broken door, and Bluedude holding his cheek. What on earth happened here? What's going on with you kids? Bluedude immediately spoke up, eager to shift the blame onto you. It's all his fault, Dad. He went ballistic and broke my stuff and my door. Bluedude smirked, confident that he had the upper hand in this situation. Oh, really now? And what thing exactly did I supposedly break, huh? 'Cause as far as I know, all I did was defend my privacy and my stuff when this little punk got violent and destructive. Bluedude raised an eyebrow, skeptical of your claim. Oh, so now you're blaming me for breaking something that pretty princess gave you? How convenient. And what exactly was it anyway? Something of value, me? Or just some crappy little toy or something? Bluedood's smirk disappeared, replaced by a look of mild surprise. He hadn't expected that you would hold something so sentimental in such high regard. Still, his ego wouldn't allow him to back down. Ah, so it was some little homemade trinket. Is that really worth all this fuss? It's just a piece of clay, for crying out loud. It's not like it was some priceless artifact or anything. Pretty Princess looked at you with mild concern. She didn't want to see violence, but understood how frustrated you were. Well, hey, calm down. We don't need to resort to violence. She gently placed her hands on your shoulders, trying to restrain you. 30 Princess quickly stepped in, seeing that the situation was escalating. She placed a restraining hand on your arm, trying to hold you back. Whoa, whoa, easy there. Let's not do anything rash, alright? Blooded chuckled, clearly not intimidated by your bared teeth. Oh, look at you, all fierce. Acting like a... Blooded watched as Pretty Princess held you back, his smirk returning. Yeah, you better listen to her. You can't just go around threatening to kill people and break stuff whenever you get angry. You need to learn some restraint, you little punk. Blooded, still feeling emboldened by your earlier display of anger, smirked at your growling. Ha! Look at him, trying to be all tough and scary. What are you gonna do, little pipsqueak? Bite me? I'm fast testing. Um, um, uh, Bluedude was taken off guard as you suddenly launched yourself at him. He let out a surprised yelp as you tackled him to the ground. Ah! Get off me, you crazy little sh*t. Bluedude wasn't expecting such a sudden pouncing attack. He tried to block your advance, but your momentum caught him off guard. The two of you ended up crashing onto the floor, wrestling and struggling against each other. Bluedude grunted under your weight, trying to push you off him. Despite his strength, you seemed to have the upper hand in the scuffle, thanks to the element of surprise. 30 Princess and No 77 watched the ongoing fight with a mix of concern and slight amusement. Blue Dude managed to roll you over, getting back on top. He attempted to pin you down to the ground. His breathing was heavy due to the exertion. Ugh, damn it! Why? Why are you... Blooded took advantage of your momentary discomfort and redoubled his efforts to pin you down. His hands gripped your wrists firmly to keep you from escaping. He leaned in close, his face just inches away from yours. Not so tough now, huh? You're going down, punk. Just give up already. The next day, the aftermath of the previous day's fight was evident. Blue Dude sported a black eye and a slight limp, while you had a few cuts and bruises. Pretty Princess tried to hide her giggles at the sight of Blue Dude's disheveled appearance. Even Dillo77 couldn't help but crack a smirk. Blue Dude, on the other hand, was clearly in a foul mood all day, giving you a death glare whenever you crossed paths. The next morning, the aftermath of the previous night's events was still evident. Blue Dude's door was still off the hinges, and the shattered PC remained a shattered mess. Blue Dude, meanwhile, had a noticeable bruise on his cheek from your earlier slap. Pretty Princess and Dodo 7 and 7 sat at the breakfast table while Blue Dude sulked in his seat, nursing his bruise with an ice pack. The mood in the room was a bit tense. Nero 77, still reeling from last night's chaos, simply nodded and slid the salt shaker over to you. Sure thing, kiddo. There 7N7 looked up from his breakfast and noticed your soft request. Sure thing, kiddo. He picked up the salt shaker and passed it to you across the table. He looked at your subdued demeanor, clearly sensing the lingering tension in the air. 007 smiled warmly at your use of the affectionate nickname. He was always a softie when it came to you. You're welcome, sweetheart. Is everything all right? You're unusual. Then a 7N7's expression to one of concern at your mention of your teeth. Oh, what's wrong with your teeth, kiddo? Are they bothering you? Desiree 77's eyes widened in alarm at the sound of the crunching noise coming from your Mavin. Whoa! What was that? Did you just crunch on something? The sound of you biting something, and then the crunch noise caught everyone's attention. Then a 7-7's eyes widened in alarm. Wait, what was that? Did you just bite something and crunch it? And did you say something about your tooth? Then my 7N's eyes widened further in horror as you spit out a tooth. Good God, is that your tooth? What happened, kiddo? Pretty Princess looked shocked and concerned, while Blue Dude, despite his earlier attention with you, couldn't help but look a bit freaked out. The sight of your tooth on the table sent a shock through Lily 7N7. He stared at the tooth, completely gobsmacked, while Blooded and 30 Princess gasped in surprise. Sweetie, is that your tooth? 07N7 shot up from his seat, alarmed by your sudden dash to the bathroom. Pretty Princess followed right behind you, with Blue Dud joining a few steps behind. Where are you going? Kiddo, wait a moment. 30 Princess and Blue Dud both entered the bathroom after you, finding you staring at the tooth with a mix of horror and disbelief. Oh my goodness, is that your tooth, kid? Blue Dud remained uncharacteristically quiet, his usual irritation replaced by concern for your well-being. 30 Princess gasped and rushed forward, taking a closer look at your bleeding lip. 077 followed closely behind, a look of worry on his face. Oh no, you're bleeding, kiddo. Let me take a look. 30 Princess noticed the blood trickling from your lip and gasped, her concern growing stronger. Oh no, you're bleeding. 07 said pushed his way into the bathroom as well, and his eyes immediately locked on the blood. He was deeply worried about your well-being now. 7. What in the world happened, kid? Let me see. Mouth. 30 Prince's eyes widened further as she noticed the blood on your lip. Wait, why are you bleeding? Blooted's face paled at the sight of blood. What the hell? Kid, are you okay? Both Pretty Princess and Blue Dud immediately went into concern mode. They tried to assess the situation, checking for any obvious signs of injury. Okay, take a deep breath and stay calm, alright? Let us take a look. She gently lifted your chin to examine your mouth, while Blue Dud watched anxiously from behind her. It was nighttime, and Bluto decided to stream some video games online, as he often did when he wanted to unwind. As he got into the game, he naturally became a bit noisy, shouting commentary and getting excited during intense moments. His loud noises echoed through the house, and it was impossible for everyone in the house to not hear him. 30 Princess was reading a book in her room, and 007 and 7 was in his office working on some documents. Both of them looked up at the ceiling, hearing Bluted's noisy streaming. Blue Dud froze. That voice, it was familiar to him, but he couldn't quite place it, and the word Zaddy was definitely unexpected, even more so paired with the moaned words. Wait, what? Zaddy? Who said that? He looked around his room, his mind racing. Could it be someone in the house? And if it was, who was it? He couldn't shake the feeling that he knew that voice, but he just couldn't figure out who it belonged to. Come on, who's messing with me? I know it's you. Show yourself. Blueted's face went red once again, the word daddy getting to him despite his annoyance. He was caught off guard by those words. Damn it, stop calling me that! Just show yourself already, damn it. Bluted waited, anticipating the person to show themselves. He was still annoyed, but also curious to find out who was bothering him. All right, stop messing around and show your face already. Stop hiding and come out here, coward. Blueted's eyes widened as he heard the knock on his door. Finally, come in, whoever you. He cut himself off, his jaw dropping as the door opened and he saw you standing there. He recognized you instantly, but he couldn't believe what he was seeing. It's. It's you? You're the one making all that noise? Bluted felt a surge of annoyance and defensiveness. He crossed his arms and rolled his eyes. Hey, I was just streaming some games. I wasn't being that loud. Come on. You didn't have to go to the extreme and start moaning and calling me, He blushed slightly as he remembered the daddy remark. Blue Dead defended himself, still feeling slightly embarrassed. I wasn't that loud. Besides, I can do what I want in my own room, right? It's not my fault you can't sleep through some simple gaming noise. Bluted paled a bit, the mention of getting grounded hitting him hard. Hey! Bluted's eyes widened as you yelled for Dad. He knew that this was bad news, and he felt a mix of fear and frustration. Whoa, wait a minute. You don't have to call Dad over. Bluted desperately tried to reason with you, not wanting to get in trouble with Dad over this. Come on, seriously. Bluted's heart sank as he heard you shouting for Dad again. He knew knew that was a lost cause. Suddenly, the office door opened and Dozo77 stepped into the hallway looking a bit grumpy. What's all the yelling about? I'm trying to work here, you know? Near 7N7's irritation grew as he heard your explanation. He rubbed his temples, already fed up with the nighttime noise. Is that so? Blue did. I thought I told you to keep it down when gaming. You know damn well it disrupts everyone's rest in the house. Blue Dad fidgeted and avoided eye contact, embarrassed that he was being lectured in front of you. I know, but I wasn't that loud. I was just, gaming and stuff. It's not my fault if some people can't handle a little noise. Then 7 and 7 crossed his arms, not buying Blue Dude's excuse. N7, don't give me that. It's past midnight, for God's sake. People are trying to sleep, and your yelling and gaming disturbs the whole house. It's common courtesy to keep it down at night, damn it. Blue Dude grumbled, knowing he was in the wrong but still trying to defend himself. Alright, fine, maybe I was a bit loud, but it's not like I was shouting like a lunatic or anything. And it's my damn room, okay? I can do what I want in here. Blue Dude's argument faltered as he remembered that it was indeed Zelio 7 and 7's house, and he had the final say. Okay, fair point, it is Dad's house. Then 7U7 sighed, exasperated by Blue Dude's stubborn attitude. I'm not saying you can't have freedom, Blue Dude, but there are boundaries. This house is not your personal playground, and you need to respect other people's needs. That means no more loud gaming or shouting after midnight. Capiche? Blue Dud grumbled, realizing that there was no winning this argument. He knew he was outnumbered and outvoted. Fine, fine, I get it. No more loud gaming or yelling after midnight, whatever. Happy now? He crossed his arms and shot a sideways glance in your direction, blaming you for his predicament. Blitted sulked, knowing that he couldn't win this argument. He grumbled and reluctantly nodded in agreement. Fine, fine, I'll keep it down. No more loud gaming or shouting after midnight. Got it. The other 7 nodded, satisfied with Bluted's agreement. He patted Bluted's head, a small gesture of praise. Good, kiddo. Just remember, it's not about me trying to control you, it's about being considerate towards others. We're a family, and we all have to compromise to keep this house harmonious. Understand? Bluded huffed, feeling a bit embarrassed being patted on the head like a little kid, but he nodded in agreement. Yeah, I got it. Family compromise, harmony. Whatever. Can I go back to my room now? Bluded nodded once again, still sulking but accepting the situation. Yeah, I get it. I'll be considerate. No more loud nonsense at night. Can I go back to my room now, or do I have to keep being lectured for a while longer? 777 chuckled a bit, amused by Bluded's grumpy attitude. Alright, you're free to go, but remember, I'm gonna be checking in on you. So Zeta77 turned his attention to you, giving a small smile. Yeah, you go ahead, kiddo. Get some rest, alright? It's late, and you need your sleep. 077 chuckled enthusiasm, finding it endearing. He ruffled your hair affectionately. Alright, off you go. Sweet dreams. Um... Blue Did watched as you went to your room, a mix of gratefulness and irritation on his face. He was relieved that you were gone, but he also felt irritated that you had won in this situation. Finally, some peace and quiet. Blue Dude looked over at you as you dropped your lollipop. His eyes narrow at you as Purdy giggles in the background. Hey, why can't I swear but you can? Because you're older and should know better. Sighs. That's bullshit. Blue Dude snickered, seeing you drop your lollipop. Blue Dude noticed you drop your lollipop but said nothing. CO77 was looking through his phone but noticed. See, did you just put the lollipop back in your mouth? Blue Dude snickered, but the 77 sighed. 777. He walked over to you, taking the lollipop away from you. How many times have I told you to not put things you drop back in your mouth? Blue Dude, watching the scene, was trying hard to not laugh right now. 30 also looked towards you. 77 sighed, tossing away the lollipop into a nearby trash can. Don't ever put things that fall on the floor back in your mouth. Do you want to get sick? Because that's how you get sick. Zeri77 pinched the bridge of his nose in frustration, but he sighed once he saw you be sad. I'm not mad. He kneeled down, putting a hand on your shoulder. But you really shouldn't put dirty things in your mouth. You'll get really sick. Understand? Blue Dude snickered, whilst Purdy tried to hold back her quiet giggling. W77 sighed once more before pulling out another lollipop from his pocket. You really like lollipops, don't you? Blue Dude was laughing quietly now, and Per30 was giggling as well. They thought this was funny. 077 smiled faintly as he gave you the lollipop. There now. He pat your head. Now don't drop this one again. 077 smiled, ruffling your hair once more. Good, he said, standing back up. Per30 went back to doing Blue Dude's hair, but Blue Dude was snickering quietly to himself. Pretty stopped braiding Blue Dude's hair, hearing you say that. She grinned, seeing this as an opportunity. Oh, really? You want me to give you a makeover? Purdy smiled, clapping her hands excitedly. Yay! I've been waiting for this moment. She grabbed your wrist, dragging you into a different room, leaving Blue Dude and 007 and 7. Per30 brought you into her room, letting 30 giggled, coming out of her closet with a small basket full of makeup and outfits. Now, she sat next to you, setting the basket in her lap. Per30, let's get started. Per30 took out a small palette of foundation, beginning to apply it onto your face. Per30, you'll look so pretty once I'm done. She hummed cheerfully to herself, blending the foundation onto your face with a makeup sponge. She continued the process, applying concealer, contour, and even some blush onto your cheeks. After she finished, she looked at you with pride, seeing you already looking somewhat different, but she wasn't finished. You look good already, but we aren't done. She smiled, taking out an eyeshadow palette from the basket, picking up an eyeshadow brush. Just hold still now. This won't take long. She hummed cheerfully, focusing on carefully applying different colors of eyeshadow onto your eyelids. Thirty finished up the eye look, putting the eyeshadow palette back into the basket. She then grabbed a mascara, opening it. Just a bit of mascara, and you'll be set. She gently put the mascara onto your eyelashes, coating them with it. She smiled once again, taking a moment to look at her progress. After applying the different shades of eyeshadow, she took an eyeliner pencil and drew a thin black liner onto the top and bottom of your eyelids. You're looking good so far, she said as she gave you a small smile, picking up some mascara from the basket. She began to apply the mascara onto your eyelashes, making them look longer and fuller. She also curled them slightly before making them pop out more. There, almost done, she said, satisfied with her work. She took a lip brush and some lipstick from the basket, grabbing your chin to keep you still. She applied a deep red color onto your lips. Looking amazing, she commented, admiring her work now. All you needed was an outfit change. She took one last look at your face before going through her closet, trying to find an outfit for you. After a moment, she found something grinning wide. She put the makeup tools back into the basket, setting it to the side. Now on to the outfit, she said, standing up and going over to her closet, beginning to rummage through it for the perfect outfit for you. Thirty grinned, holding up a black and 30 laughed, finding your reaction to the dress cute. Heh, I'll take that as a yes, she said, walking over to you with the dress in hand, holding it up against your body to see if it'll fit you. It fit well, the lacy dress hugging your body nicely on the waist and thighs. 30 looked satisfied with her work so far. Oh, it looks so good on you, she said with a smile, walking over to another part of her closet to find complementary accessories for the outfit. Ferdy giggled, taking out some gold jewelry from her closet, a necklace, some earrings, and a bracelet. Of course you do. You look really girly, she came back to you, putting the jewelry on you. She took a step back to admire your transformation so far. Thirty clapped her hands together, smiling widely at how good you looked. 30. Now, we have just a few more things to do before the makeover's complete, she said, going back over to her closet, searching for the last two items she needed for your makeover. She found what she was looking for, an elegant pair of black platform heels and a lacy choker necklace. She walked back over to you and knelt down. "These will complete your look," she said, putting the shoes on your feet before putting on the choker necklace around your neck. She stood up once more, admiring her work with a satisfied smile on her face. She put her hands on her hips. "You look absolutely amazing. The transformation is complete," she said, stepping aside to let you see yourself in a nearby mirror. You stared at yourself in the mirror, completely amazed by the changes. Your face was now flawlessly make-upped, your hair was braided and styled beautifully, and the clothes you were wearing made you look absolutely stunning. "I told you that you'd look good," she said cheerfully as she stood behind you. Gertie giggled, nodding her head. "I'm sure he'll love your makeover just as much as I do," she said, grabbing your hand and starting to lead you out of her room, going to find arrow 7 and 7. For 30 led you out of her room and into the living room where Delio 77 was sitting on the couch, still going through his phone. He looked up as the two of you entered the room. "Oh, finished with the makeover already?" he said, putting his phone down on the coffee table and standing up. 07N7's widened even further as he took in the sight of your makeover. He was speechless for a moment before finally speaking. "Well, I'll be damned," he said, walking over to you and inspecting your makeover closely. He put a hand under your chin, tilting your head from side to side to get a better look. "I'm impressed. You look absolutely stunning." 30 beamed with pride, seeing how impressed No 77 was with her work. She clasped her hands together, clearly satisfied with your transformation. "See? I told you he'd love it." Um, I told you he'd love it," she said, giggling as she watched 077 continue to examine you closely. Delno 77 chuckled, finally stepping back from you. In the other room, being stubborn, he pointed at a room down the hall, presumably where Blue Dude was being a brat. Blue Dude heard you call for him, and after a few moments he finally came out of the room, crossing his arms irritably. He looked at you, and his eyes went wide upon seeing your makeover. Blisp, whoa. He seemed genuinely surprised by how different you looked. Nero 77 chuckled and patted Blue Dude's head, amused. Blue Dude nodded, still admiring your makeover. He looked you up and down, a small grin spreading across his face. "Yeah, you look pretty all right," he said with a chuckle, crossing his arms again and putting on a cool facade, but it was obvious that he secretly thought you looked great. See, even Blue Dude is impressed. Per 30 giggled at Blue Dude's attempt at being cool, seeing right through it. "You don't have to try and act tough, we all know you think the makeover is awesome," she teased, sticking out her tongue playfully at Blue Dude. 30 was also amused by Blue Dude's reaction, giggling at the fact that even he couldn't deny that you looked amazing. No 77 put a hand on Blue Dude's shoulder, giving him a small nudge, admitting it won't hurt you, you know. Blue Dude, yeah. Shut it. he said, trying to maintain his cool demeanor, but failing miserably at doing so. Bluedude couldn't help but break out into a genuine chuckle at your excitement. Yeah, you're pretty damn pretty, he admitted, finally. No 7-7 chuckled, finding your confidence amusing. Pretty also giggled, clearly enjoying the reactions you were getting from both Blue Dude and Doe 7 and 7. Blue Dude tried to act nonchalant, but he couldn't help but continue to glance at you, impressed by your makeover. You've certainly got the confidence to match your looks now, he said with a smile, patting your head like he did to Blue Dude earlier. Bluda, Dele77 and pruckled at your enthusiastic declaration. Prithee ruffled your hair affectionately. We get it. Bluedid grumbled, crossing his arms even tighter and pouting. It was obvious that he was jealous of all the attention you were getting. 977 found this amusing, but decided to tease Bluedid a bit more. Ah, looks like someone's jealous, he said, ruffling Blue Dude's hair with a sly grin on his face. Blue Dude's cheeks turned slightly pink as he heard your compliment. He wasn't used to receiving compliments, so it kinda caught him off guard. He glanced away, trying to act. Blue Dude froze up as you hugged him, not expecting the sudden display of affection. He was caught off guard, but after a moment he softened and returned the hug, wrapping his arms around you. 777 smiled at the sight, knowing that Blue Dude secretly enjoyed the attention despite his tough facade. 30 cooed softly, seeing you two hugging. She thought it was cute how Blue Dude, despite his rough exterior, had a soft side that he rarely showed. And 7-7 patted Blue's head, teasing him once more, and 7, see? Even you can show some love sometimes, despite acting all tough. Blue Dude. Shut up, he said, looking away with a pout, his cheeks becoming even more red. Purdy watched the scene with a huge grin on her face, clearly happy to see the two of you getting along. Blue Dude eventually broke the hug, still trying to act cool but failing miserably. Humph. You better not make this a habit, he said, crossing his arms once more and averting his gaze. 97-7 chuckled, finding Blue Dude's tough act endearing. Blooded looked at you, surprised. Sloot kid, stop copying me. Sigh, both of you. Stop swearing. Per 30 went back to fixing Blooded's hair. He looked pretty good, and you definitely knew that you were next. Blooded gasped, as well as Purdy. Bro, you can't say that. 2077 only groaned. He didn't want to get involved. Per 30 looked back at you, and so did Blooded. That's a very bad word. You already knew that, but you didn't give a damn. 30 gasped again. She was flabbergasted. Blooded was also surprised that you said it in general, yet he was also amused by it. You can't say that word! 07N7. Well, this was getting interesting. Per 30 looked back at those 77, then back at you, then at Blooded. He said a bad word. Blooded was holding in laughter. This was funny to watch. 30 just shook her head before continuing to do Blooded's hair. Blooded. I'm just surprised you're the one saying it, LMO. You just grinned. Pretty looked at you with disappointment. She didn't want you to say it again. You shouldn't say it again. You still didn't care. Blooded's eyes widened. He didn't know if he should laugh or be mortified. Bro, what? Blooded choked in a laugh. He tried to hold it in. Blue, my God, I have 7-7. Stop teaching him that. 30. I told you not to say bad words. She was definitely struggling to hold in her laughter. Blooded couldn't help it. He was laughing. 9077 looked as though he were about to laugh as well. Oh my God, I'm laughing so hard. Blooded, you can't laugh! Per 30 gave up holding in the laughter. Pretty. Nine-7 couldn't hold in his laugh any longer. He had joined Blooded and Purdy's side. Wheeze 7 stop Blooded. I'm dying, LMFAO! 077 couldn't even breathe at this point. He was dying from laughter while sitting on the couch. Wheeze, Cibergalel kid, stop. Blooded was holding his stomach, almost crying from laughter. Blooded. Haha, I'm a piss myself. Purdy was also dying of laughter. She was kneeling on the floor, holding her stomach. C30. Noel. All three of them were on the floor, dying from laughter. You were just standing there smugly. We 7 and 7, Mel kid. Where did you learn those words from? Wheeze. Bro, chill. 7-7 was trying to get up, still laughing. So kid Wheezes quit making us piss on the floor. Pretty bro, I'm done No 7 and 7 eventually got up, panting while still laughing. Come here, you brat Wheezes. You smugly walked over to him. He was still trying to stop laughing. Where'd you learn those words from? Wheeze. N077 looked over at Blooded. Blue, did you teach him that? Blooded's laughter quieted down and he sat up. You? Blooded was sitting up, catching his breath. Blooded. Wheeze, bro. Delio 77 was trying to be serious, but he kept on accidentally laughing. Shut up, Bluted. He looked back at you. And you, don't be smart. Who did you learn those words from? Still dying, what? Why am I not surprised? He managed to finally stop laughing, wiping his eyes. Seven. Bluted was still on the floor, trying to calm down from laughter. Bluted. Bro, I'm dying. Help me. Letter 77 was mortified and he was trying so hard not to laugh. Oh, God. So, where did you get those words? Bluted was sitting on the floor, wheezing. You made him piss himself. Bluted. Whoa, what? Bluted quickly got up off the floor. He was flabbergasted. No, per 30 was still on the floor, barely paying attention to what was going on. To focus on the fact, Blue Dude was called a blue gumball. Blue Dude. Bro, did you just call me a gumball? Blue Dude sat up, still trying to stop laughing. Bluesy Bluted was now the one giving a smug look. 30 stopped laughing. Bluted. Mockingly, bro can actually talk now. That's crazy, Evan. Bluted, you only stared at Blue Dude with hatred. That set Bluted off. He was full on laughing now. Bluted, per 30 and Dolo 77 were holding in laughter, trying not to burst out in it again. Zeddy 777 was trying to hold back his laughter because of the fact Blue Dude was called a gumball. Bro, you got called a gumball. Blue Dude looked like he was pissed. Blue Dude, shut your ass up, CZO Kid ID. Zero 077's on the floor pissing himself from laughing so much. 077, Burrow, what? Bluta was pissed, yet holding back his laughter. Bly! 077 was holding his face in his hands, attempting so hard not to laugh as he was failing. Bluted looked utterly shocked. This is the funniest thing ever. Bluted was trying not to get angry. Wheeze, brew, kid, stop! You're gonna cause me to throw hands! 077 was done trying to keep a straight face. 077 Bluetooth. What? 077 finally burst out laughing. He fell back on the couch, laughing his ass off. CO7N. Purdy finally looked up, seeing Blue Dude looking all pissed. Bro! Both 077 and Purdy were dying. Blue Dude's face was priceless. Blue Dude watched as you left, still frustrated by the whole situation. Once you were out of sight, he retreated to his room, shutting the door behind him. He flopped onto his bed, groaning in frustration. Zozo77 watched you go before turning back to Blue Dude, who was still standing there looking grumpy. And you, Blue Dude, straight to your room. I don't want to hear any more noise coming from there tonight. Got it? No gaming, no yelling, nothing. Mm, just some good old-fashioned sleeping.